Hey guys, this is Sean Waller, also known as Showing Your Realtor. Continue to educate yourself because this business is always evolving. Just continue to learn. With it, talk to you guys later. Welcome to the Strictly Free Game Podcast. I'm Sean Waller, Showing Your Realtor. Whatever you want to call me, just make sure you call me. I'm here with my man Charles Weinraub. Did I say it right?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
AKA Handsome Home Buyer. I'm not even going to try to say the other one. What is it? AKA
El Judío Maravilloso.
Woo! The man, the myth, the motherfucking legend.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, bro. You know, you're the content king of Long Island. You know that shit.
Bro, I got my alter ego standing across from me right now. Me and this guy right here, we started this shit.
Yeah, you started you guys fucking, you definitely changed the landscape of the whole shit. Yeah. So that's dope. I have a few questions for you, which we started. What made you start doing social media content?
I'm trying to think back. So originally I started a podcast. So I've been in real estate 6.5 years. Mm-hmm. Maybe like 4 years ago, I started doing a podcast in like a 400 square foot roach infested office, my first office. Yeah. And all it was audio. I didn't know what I was doing. I got a microphone, I got Audacity, which was a free, just like a free software. Okay. And we started doing podcasts and we put it up on YouTube with just a picture of my logo.
I remember that,
Like real bootleg, we don't know what we're doing. Just because I went on someone's podcast, I'm like, oh, this is a lot of fun, let's do it. Let's always try something different.
Of course.
And then like we were speaking before off camera, creating content is kind of like a drug.
It is. It's a sick high.
Because once you start doing it, you're like, oh, like, this shit works.
Bro, not to cut you off, me and Matt, we had like a month gap, right? Because my daughter was born, so I took a little month off. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm missing something. I'm like itching, dude.
Right?
Like, yeah. You know what I mean? So it's definitely like a fucking drug. It's definitely like a drug.
It is. And it's like, I know we were talking about before, it transforms your business.
Yeah.
And listen, people notice you, like, with the TV ads and everything I do, like, I walk into like the most random places in restaurants, like, oh, here's a home buyer, blah, blah, blah. Here's a drink on the house, like whatever. And I don't need that, but it's nice. It's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling when you're, putting out content that helps people like you do, and people come up to you or they email you or whatever, and they say, yo, like, that was dope, and I did this, this, and this in my life because I watched or followed you. Yeah,
and I told you that. I started this because of you. No lie. I remember your podcast was the first podcast I've ever listened to. I never even knew what the fuck a podcast was. And I'm cursing like crazy. But I never knew what a podcast was. I was in my 2007 Nissan Altima driving to a job that I hated. And this, yeah, this all comes back.
This is before you were a realtor, or were you doing it part-time?
I was doing it part-time.
Okay.
And the crazy thing is, this brings me back full circle. I used to manage the building over here. You know this huge building on Main Street?
Which one?
New Village.
Yeah.
I managed that building.
No kidding. Yeah. I didn't know that.
I managed that. So I'm listening to you while I'm driving to work, and I was the property manager.
Okay,
so I'm sitting behind the desk all day, doing reports.
Bro, that's a tough job.
It's a tough job.
I always say being a property manager is literally a thankless job, because if you're doing a great job, no one says thank you.
Exactly.
But otherwise, people are calling you all day to complain about everything.
Everything.
Literally
everything.
Everything.
So, and the funny thing is, I get to that later, I became full-time, right? 2020 was my first year full-time.
Wow.
I got fired from my job on my day off.
Wow.
Literally, on my day off.
As like COVID's hitting.
So I was fired in October of 2019. COVID hit 2020.
Okay, got it.
But so I'll go back to the story how I was fired on my day off. I gave my 2-week notice. Okay. I was like, I'm going full time. I'm going straight in with this.
Okay.
I had a closing that day. It was in Freeport, and it didn't make sense to come all the way back out here for the closing. My regional called me. He's like, listen, don't even come back.
Wow.
Yeah, straight up, don't even come back. But we're going to offer you this package, and it wound up paying me throughout the year. So it kind of worked out.
That's awesome.
Yeah. 2020 hit. I'm like, fuck, I'm in this full time now.
Yeah.
But the deals are starting to roll in. I get 3 listings back to back, feeling good.
This is pre-COVID.
This is pre-COVID. This is January.
Got it.
3 deals. I had a huge deal in Brooklyn, multifamily, 1 in Hicksville. Like, everything's rolling. Yeah. I'm double ending them. Like, it's crazy. COVID hit, shut me down.
3 months.
3 months. Dude, and I'm home with a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which helped me actually get in front of the camera. But we'll get into that a little later. This is all about you. So I'm here to interview you. I didn't introduce you the right way. So Charles is the biggest flip and fix developer on Long Island. Yeah. Right? How many deals do you usually do a year?
I do anywhere from 70 to 110 deals a year.
Wow.
And then the goal for next year is to do 200 houses.
Okay.
I've done over 400 houses in the last 5 years.
That's insane.
And yeah, I have over 100 rental units. Now I'm doing commercial development, so I'm halfway approved to get a 138-bed assisted living facility approved. I'm in talks to do convert a gas station to do a Dunkin' Donuts deal.
Nice.
2 weeks from now, I'm going to be the first private developer to 3D print a house
Nice.
in the country. And we're about to announce, I guess, I've talked about it, but I'll talk about it a little bit more here. I'm closing on a 27 acres in Riverhead in about 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
We're going to 3D print the world's largest 3D printed subdivision, 25 3D printed houses.
Sick.
Crazy.
Sick.
Crazy shit, bro.
How do you even function doing all of this? Like, how does...
I'm not married. I don't have kids. I think that's the only thing. Like, I just met 2 other realtors before, and I was like, how do you juggle this and that? They're like, I love what I do, and fortunately, at this moment today, I don't have a tremendous amount of responsibility outside of my business, so I give it 180%.
That's insane, bro. And you've only been doing this for what, like 6, 7 years?
6.5 years.
That's crazy.
It's a lot. A lot has happened in a short period of time, which time's moving by really fast. Which you're getting older. You always want to slow it down, but at the same time, so much has happened that I'm grateful.
Of course.
That I'm living every day the way I want to live it.
Yeah, you're living the dream. You're living the dream, and like I said, you're like a celebrity out here. So, how's are the deals basically coming to you? Like, how are you finding your deals especially when it comes to the fix and flip?
So the majority of stuff now I'm branching out more because to get to that like 200 plus level, so I want to open a private equity fund. That's my ultimate goal in the next 3 to 5 years, and leave the fix and flip world. So before
completely, you just
yes,
trying to get completely out. Okay.
I want to be Blackstone. Like I want to be, buying packages of, I don't know, multifamily apartment buildings. Just I want to be able to do whatever I want. Buy businesses, institutional on that level. But before I do, I have to prove to myself that I feel like I was the best.
Gotcha.
To ever do this. And in my opinion, if you're doing 200 houses a year in New York, which I think is the toughest place to do anything. In this particular climate also, you're the man.
Yeah. That's sick.
So the majority, to answer your question, the majority of my business comes through relationships.
Okay.
So like I'm blessed to have relationships with thousands of realtors like yourself. I conduct my business a certain way. We have a great time. I promote everybody. And people want to bring me deals, and that's what happens. And
speaking of promoting everybody, I was gonna actually get to that. You're the king of free game. Like I say, I give free game, but if you ever watch Charles's content, that's all you do is give free game. Like you're just out there giving out information.
Everything.
And have you ever got anyone that questioned like, Charles, why the hell are you telling everyone all of this stuff? Why don't you keep it to yourself? All
the time. Like when Matt and I first started doing this, my accountant, who's like my second father, he's like, what are you doing this? Like, what is this, like a vanity thing? I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm like, the rule of the games of actually the game hasn't changed. The game is always whoever has the attention has the business. The mediums have changed, right? It's no longer TV and things like that. It's stuff like we're doing right now. But I always operated like I had a principle that someone told me a long time ago, which is you want to be rich, start thinking about ways you can make other people rich. So when you start selflessly giving things to people,
it comes right back to
you. They
you.
come at you like, I want to help you.
Yeah. Dude, my business has been like through the roof in the last, October hits a year since I started doing social media content. Okay. Literally. My business has tripled since I started.
Yeah, and sometimes you sit back and you're like, you can't really pinpoint exactly, like it's hard to, Matt and I would talk about this all the time, like what's the ROI of a personal brand? It's not like, advertising in a magazine with a coupon code or something like that. You can't. It's just a feeling. It's just the flow. It's just a momentum.
Yeah.
And that's what you get when you build a personal brand.
Yeah, and people always ask me, especially when I first started, what is the ROI? They hear the price that I'm paying for everything, and people are like, what the hell are you doing? What's the ROI? And I can never measure it, but I can tell you that, one, my business has tripled. I literally just closed my first deal that has strictly come from social media.
That's dope.
It wasn't a referral through a friend. It wasn't someone that was following me already. They literally found me through a hashtag. That's crazy. Yeah, got them. They called me. We just closed on the property like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do that if I wasn't doing social media.
No, and the thing is that people don't understand that contributes to is like, let's say somebody meets you. The first thing they're gonna do is they're gonna go to Google or they're gonna go to social media to look for you.
Yep.
So, like, yo, Sean seems cool, but like, yeah, there's 10 realtors that are saying they can do the same thing, but then like, oh, Sean's social media is dope. And then like, you know what, I'm not sure who I'm gonna use. But then every day you're popping up. There's your face, there's your face, there's your face. You get the call.
I literally had an agent accept my offer because of my social media.
Yeah, bro.
She was like, yo, I looked you up and he's like, you know your shit.
Crazy story happened to me 2 weeks ago. So I just closed, actually right in Patchogue. I own a lot of rentals around here. I just bought another 8-unit apartment building in Patchogue.
Okay.
Last week. The bank was like, they didn't really know me. Like they knew me, but like they were really scrutinizing the loan. The guy calls me up and says, we accepted the loan. By the way, the loan committee was talking about your commercials and your social media. They love it. They were also curious to know if maybe you would give the bank a shout out.
How crazy is that?
Like, bro, when you're getting $1 million deals funded off the strength of people knowing you on social media, that's a game changer.
Yeah, as you said, the ROI is that. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not even to jump back, but let's talk about the flipping part of it, right? So I have people that always call me, especially friends. Everyone wants to get into the flipping game. They think it's the sexiest thing in the world. Watch HGTV. They're like, yo, I can do this. What advice would you give to the first time flipper? Like someone that's trying to get the acquisition and figure it out.
So if you want to be, real estate is the greatest gig ever, man. It can be as big as you want or as little as you want. It could be like the ultimate side hustle, or it could be, you could flip 100 houses a year. The foundation of all this shit is education and patience. You have to, I spent 3 to 4 years training with my mentor, Carl Chavon, who I always talk about. Then when I was ready to get a deal, it took me an entire year just to find the first deal, and now I'm off and running. But you need to get the proper education, because we're playing with real money here.
Yeah.
Real money, real stakes. Like, your first deal screwed up because you want to jump the gun could be the last, and it could screw you up forever.
Yeah, it could shut you out completely. Your first deal could be your last deal.
Yeah, you lose $100,000.
Yeah.
Like, this also isn't like, we're not in some of these other markets like Tennessee or Ohio where you could buy a house for $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000. New York, the average taxes are $15,000. The median sales price in Nassau County is like $675,000. Like, this is real money.
This is real money, yeah.
We're talking about here. So you have to spend the time.
Now, what would you tell someone as far as like the finishes inside the property? Because you watch HGTV, they're like, oh, we're going to put the $10,000 cabinets here. We're going to do. Would you tell someone to keep it simple? Would you tell them to like completely try to blow it out the water and like wow everyone on the finishes? Like, how does Charles do it? What do you do when it comes to your flips?
So there's a principle called norming the market, right?
Okay.
So it's really market dependent. So obviously I'm going to do something different in like Locust Valley, which for those of you who don't know is a very high-end area in Long Island, than I would in just like a Wantua or like a regular type of just community, where the price point is different. Like if the average is 600 somewhere, I should say, and if the average is 2 million somewhere else, it's different.
Yeah.
So what you would do is, let's say I'm gonna buy the house in Wantua, and I'm gonna sell the house for $600,000 and make up a number. I would go around to all the houses in the area. I would go to 10 open houses that they're selling properties in that price point.
Okay.
And I would have like a checklist together, and I would write down what they all have. Okay, how many of them have granite countertops? How many of them have in-ground sprinklers?
Okay.
How many of them have stainless steel appliances? How many of them have hardwood floors? And then based on that, I'm then gonna build my flip right to there, maybe a hair above it. Because if you go too much above, you're going to spend a lot of money you're not going to get a return on. But if you go below, you're not going to be comparable to the houses in the market.
That's dope. So you actually do your research. Like I know a lot of guys that are flippers.
Yeah.
Part-time flippers, but they don't do that type of research. They're just going in, banging out the walls, and then they'll figure it out when they get inside.
There's a lot of guys, especially like you have to be set up for this. Like we have in-house everything, bro.
Okay.
Like we have in-house permits, in-house cabinet company, in-house construction. We have plumbers on staff, electricians on staff. We have all of that.
Don't.
We have in-house property management, so we can do the right job. And it still costs me a ton of money to do this stuff. And a lot of guys are overpaying, doing bootleg work, and then the industry gets a bad rap because you have a shoddy product.
Yeah. And I notice your flips, usually you go straight down to the studs with everything.
Everything, bro.
Every flip you do?
As a matter of fact, 99% of them, because my guys are trained now. Like the houses that I've always historically bought, and Matt can tell you because he's gotten fleas in some of them, right?
Saw that one, yeah.
They're horrible. Like you can't, there's no coming back from these things. They're so bad, you need everything. So my guys are like a machine where they're used to doing that. If they have to like try to save something and like, we end up spending more money and it looks terrible. So I would rather them just wipe it clean, start over, better product. We flow better that way.
Nice. And is every flip the same? So if you're going in, like your guys, like you said, you have guys that already know the system. Do they know that they're going in with this wall, this paint color, this cabinet color? Because I know flippers that do that. Like you'll walk into a house and know like, oh, all right, I know who the flipper was for this one.
So it's part of the evolution. So back when I first started doing this, I would hire an interior designer to put like 3 bathrooms together for me, and for the whole year I would use those same ones. Now I've gotten to the point where I'm always trying to elevate my product, so I hired an interior designer who works for us, and she designs every single house.
Nice.
I'm not involved in any of it. So I'm not involved in any aspect of the construction or the design, period.
Nice, okay. All right, so that's good to know. That's a little free game for everybody. That's cool. All right, so switch gears back to social media, because like I said, you're like, I'm more here to pick your brain about that. Like I love the fix and flip thing, but the social media thing, like you have me like laser focused on that. So you and Matt started, you said around a few years ago. Yeah. Right? How has, 2 years?
2 years ago, yeah.
Wow, it's only been 2 years? Really?
It hasn't been that long, bro. This is when I remember the social media thing was big. So 2019 was my slowest year in a while because I didn't like the market. I had a feeling in my mind that like Q4 of 2019, there was something was gonna happen in the market because the pricing was just, it wasn't making sense.
And it was already low inventory. Like the inventory was low, but it wasn't like, it wasn't 2020 low, but it was slowly starting to decline a little bit.
But like the spreads weren't there and I didn't like it. So I pulled back. And in 2019 I don't remember exactly how many deals, but I did less deals because I was like, I don't like the way the market feels. I think based on like where we are in the market cycle that something's gonna happen end of 2019.
Okay.
Now, Matt and I were creating content. So COVID hit beginning of 2020. I didn't know some crazy disease was gonna go, ransack the world, but I felt like it was time for something to happen. So Matt and I were putting out a ton of content. I would say right before the beginning of the summer, Eric Braun did Brewery 3. He did his Brewery 3 event. So I went there. And my typical, I've done a lot of networking. My typical networking event is like guys our age, like, or girls our age, like 35 to 45. This was all younger people.
Yeah.
So I walked into this place and that was the first time I was like a celebrity.
Nice.
In the space. And they're like, oh, you're killing it, bro. Like you just popped up on the scene a year ago. I'm like, dude, I was doing 60, 80, 107 houses before I was ever on social media. And that's when I realized I was like, oh, like this works.
This is it, yeah.
This works. And then it's like, all right, I got to pour gasoline on this.
I see that because you pump out, is there a strategy with the way that you pump out your content? As far as like your posting and what is your strategy? How do you figure it out?
So, and it's a forever evolving thing. And right now we're actually building an in-house media company of like 8 to 12 people just to service me and my businesses, right? Because I feel like that's the advertising medium that we have to use, and you need control, and you need staff to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So it's just there's a couple different things. I make sure I'm not on every social media platform. My goal is to be on every social media platform, but
because all of them is I don't know. It's what do you get the most attention from on your social media? Is it Instagram?
Where do I get the most attention from?
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's like I've been hitting Instagram really hard, and I have like if you want to like people get hung up on followers, let's talk about followers for a minute. I have 8,000 followers on Instagram, which I feel like I've scratched and bled for every one of those things. I just started playing around with TikTok, and I suck at it. Like one video will get like 100 views, then all of a sudden, like I'll get 100 views for 3 months, and then one video will go crazy, get 400, 500,000 views, and I have like almost 11,000 followers on TikTok.
Oh, really?
But like every time I post a video, it has like three views until I get that one that hits every like 3 months.
Wow. Okay.
What it comes down to is this: you have to be everywhere, and you know why you have to be everywhere? Because most people aren't everywhere, they're on their platform of choice. And if you want to be in front of them, you have to be on their platform of choice. Now, I try to post 3 main posts a day per platform: 8 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock, and 5. 8 o'clock when people are getting up, 12 o'clock when they're having lunch, 5 o'clock when they're getting off of work.
Okay.
And then I spray stories throughout the day just to keep it moving, to keep people entertained.
Okay.
I sit down with, Matt and I used to stand and come up with this. Now I do it with Levy and the team because we're building the team. What kind of content are we going to create? We're doing educational vlogs. We're doing a regular documentary type vlog series. We're just doing fun stuff like Handsome Eats or whatever it is. I look at it like, how am I going to educate and entertain people so that they're going to want to watch?
Yeah. And that's what I like about your platform, because you're not a one-trick pony. Like you're not a one-trick pony because you could have stayed the regular fix and flip guy. Like you could have did that and like, all right, I'll just focus completely on that. You have the regular content that you put out. You have the Elite Agent, which I think I've seen every episode. I love that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I love those.
It's cool to hear about what people think because I'm in my own little like bubble of a world. So I don't know, like if you, again, not to get caught up on views because I think people really do, so it's important to talk about this. Like if you look at how many views and things I got, it's not that crazy, but everybody knows who I am.
Yeah.
So don't get, if you're someone that gets caught up on likes and views and comments and all that, it's not all that.
Yeah,
it's not.
Not at all. Because I'll have some that won't do anything. I get like a few, like maybe 100 views on them.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that didn't do much. And then people will comment on it later. I'm like, oh, all right. So people are paying attention somehow. It's not showing in the views, but they are paying attention.
They are.
But back to the Elite Agent, you have your regular content that you put out. You have the Charles, what do we call it, the Eats one that you do?
I do Handsome
Eats.
Yeah. Okay. So what are we doing right now? So on Mondays, as of right now, on Mondays we put out an educational vlog, which is me teaching a lesson about something.
Okay.
Then we do a podcast that airs on Tuesday. Wednesday has usually been a down day for releasing YouTube. Thursday we do the Elite Agent now, and then Friday we release either like Handsome Homes, which is a kind of a start to finish about a house to show how it progressed from nasty to perfect now, or we just do like a vlog documentary style thing.
Nice.
Okay. And then on top of that, all week long we're putting out things that Matt and I called nuggets, which was little like 15 to 2-minute clips that are either extracted out of the podcast, the vlog, or if I'm just doing like micro kind of lessons, like what's a cap rate in 60 seconds or less, that kind of stuff. Now that I have Levy, who's full-time with me. We just hired 2 junior editors.
Okay.
Emily, who ran property management, who's out on maternity leave, is coming back to be the director of marketing. Nice. And then we're gonna bring somebody in to do full-time paid ads for all the platforms. And now we're starting to like tailor the content towards the specific platform. So we're starting to play around with memes and more pictures and like, all right, cool, what is LinkedIn like? LinkedIn
is tough.
LinkedIn, I've noticed, really likes pictures.
Yeah.
Pictures and articles.
They're
not into the videos as much, although I notice that people notice, but I posted a picture myself with the permit for the 3D printed house that we're gonna do, 22,000 views.
On LinkedIn?
On LinkedIn.
Really?
When I post before and after pictures of houses, people love that stuff.
Okay.
That's just, but you have to try to, listen, I'm not perfect at this. I'm just literally starting to learn about it now in real time.
It's an addiction. Like I'm getting addicted just learning the process of
it. It's so necessary.
Yeah.
But even if people, like, you have a different mindset when you're on Instagram than when you're on LinkedIn, when you're on TikTok. So you have to cater to that person. So LinkedIn is more of a professional, stiffer type of environment. How do you present to those people? Instagram is more youthful and fun. TikTok is just
like
bananas. Yeah. So how do you cater to that audience? That's what you have to start to do. It takes a lot of time. It's a lot of freaking work. And if you want to do it on that scale, it takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of people. Yeah. And you have to be really organized with it too.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest problems I'm having. Just the
all of us.
Part of it.
Yeah. I think men in general, we're not organized. Like I think genetically, we're not hardwired to be organized.
Exactly. I notice me, like now I don't pay attention to, like when Matt and I will shoot content, he'll send me the video, I'll take a look at it once and then I don't look at it anymore.
I never watch these things.
I don't watch them anymore.
Don't have time. You don't have time. Yeah. I don't have time.
I'll post it and I'll just forget it. And then some people will comment on it, I'm like, oh, I forgot what I even said in that video.
Yeah. You don't have time.
No, not
don't
at
have
all.
time. I will tell you, every post you see from me up to this point, like I post myself.
Okay, I was about to ask you that.
I write all the texting and the copy, all that stuff.
What is your feeling on people that don't do that, like that are hiring social media companies out the gate?
It's just, I think you're wasting your money.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do. I think social media is an extension of who you are, your personality. If you are not, like you can't hire a social media company who like posts pictures of flowers for you or something. It's just, it's pointless.
Yeah.
And you need content that's engaging. People want to engage. You want people to like, you know, Matt will put up a story about a piece of equipment that he's using and ask people's feedback on that. Great, then people are into it. Boom, boom, boom. Same thing that we do. If people aren't engaging, it's pointless.
It's pointless, yeah. I think people are just so scared, they're so insecure, which I have a few agents that surround me. They're a little older, but it's more of an insecurity, right? So they're like, I don't like the way my voice sounds. I don't like the way my hair looks. I'm like, man, perfection is a myth. Like, we all have some type of insecurity. Just let it out.
Everybody
be vulnerable. That's all.
It is. You got to get out of your own head.
Yeah.
You got to get on. You just got to do it. You just got to do it, and don't look at. I don't watch any of the content. I don't care. Like I always tell people, I'm like, bro, I'm like a shortish, bald Jewish guy with like a nasally voice.
Yeah.
I always say like I'm like a soft 6. My personality like brings me up a couple notches, but just nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Bro. Nobody
no
cares.
one cares at all.
And again, when you really think about it, like let's get real like melodramatic here. When you're like 80-something years old and you feel like your life is coming closer to an end, and you didn't live certain things or have certain experiences because you were afraid of what other people who really don't give a shit or matter thought, how are you gonna feel?
How you gonna feel? Yeah, yeah.
How are you gonna feel?
And the way I put my content out now, because I have 2 little girls, and I'm like, you know what? I want them to be able to go back and see what Dad's opinion was on
How
certain
dope
things.
is that? That's dope.
Yeah.
Like
so
we didn't have that.
Not at all.
They're gonna have that.
They're gonna have that. So in 20 years, when they're looking to buy a house or whatever they're trying to do, they like, and you know, God willing, I'm still here. But if I'm not, they can say, let me listen to Dad's opinion on that, when he was my age, with the same scenario.
I mean, it's so much more that it can be like, you know, just the kind of person you are, the work ethic, your character, how people responded to you, just so many nonverbal things. Like that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm gonna go to a story, right? So I met Charles maybe a year ago at one of our good friend, Mike Totino, my guy Mike, Safety First Home Inspections. He had a dinner.
Yeah.
And that's where I first met Charles. Now funny story, so I was following you, Beth.
You didn't tell me either.
You
just sat at the other end of the table, just kind of stealth, like, let me see let me see what's going on here. Just like
and Walt, right?
Strong silent.
Yo, when y'all pulled up, I'm like, oh, shit, wow, I know these people. So the funny thing is, I was like, yo, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Went to the bathroom, unfollowed all of y'all. Right? I'm like, today is the first day that I know everyone.
Unfollowed?
Unfollowed you all.
Why?
I don't know. I'm weird like that because I knew we were going to exchange social medias at the end.
Okay.
So I'm like, you know what? Let me make it. Today is day 1 because this is when I'm starting everything.
Got it.
And when I left that dinner, I said, I'm not turning back.
What was the thing that triggered you saying at that dinner, I'm going to start?
When you guys pulled up, I'm like, for me, the recognition that I had, the visual, I'm like, I know who they are.
Okay.
I need people to know who I am now.
Ah, that's interesting.
That's how I felt.
And it hit you like that?
It hit me like that. Instantly.
Wow.
I went to the bathroom, like as soon as we sat down, I'm like, I went to the bathroom. That's the first thing I do is unfollow everybody.
We had a great time. That was a great dinner.
It was amazing.
A lot of laughs.
Yeah, of course. And now I'm sitting here, so, like I was saying, just to backtrack, I was listening to your podcast in my car.
That's funny.
No Bluetooth in my car, earphones hanging from my ear, driving to a job I hated, and now I'm here interviewing you.
Do you remember what podcast it was? I'm just curious. If you don't,
I think I listened to almost all of them.
Wow.
Once I got hooked on one of them, it was all of them.
That's interesting.
Beth was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
I love Beth Lowe. That's my girl.
She got a crazy story, man.
Yeah, and she's such an amazing person.
Yeah.
Like Beth and I go to lunch. I have to call her, but we go to lunch at least once a month.
That's dope.
That's my girl. But I think I listened to all of them, and I said,
That's really cool.
I'm going to be on this podcast one of these days.
Nice.
Now you're on mine.
I love it.
Yeah, bro.
That's really, I mean, dude, that means a ton to me. It really does. It's very cool to be able to impact people in the space like that.
Of course. And I met so many dope people just through social media. Shout out to my guy Lou Sariano. Lou actually shouted me out on your podcast, and that, like, I was like, all right, now I'm getting somewhere with this. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's just the cool thing. I think what I'm most proud of, and I would like to think I have something to do with this, is in the last year, definitely the last year, I felt it. The ecosystem of the residential real estate world is changing.
It's changing, definitely.
There's more collaboration. There's a lot of positivity. It's changing.
Yeah. And I like that, especially you have people from different brokerages that are collaborating with each other. I like the young guards are coming in now, which they're changing the whole landscape of the business.
And that's what I love, and that's cool. And I like to think that I have a part of doing that.
Oh, definitely. I listen to all of the podcasts, and everyone's always saying, like, Charles was the one that made me do this.
Yeah,
so you're definitely like the godfather of this. So you can't leave. I know you say you're leaving to do your private equity, but you can't go too far.
I'm not leaving yet. No, I'm not going too far. I love New York. I do.
You would never leave?
I don't know. You know what? I've tried to leave before, and I came back. New York's just kind of this thing that like hooks you because there's no place like it anywhere. With that said, there's a lot of stuff going on that I don't love that I would love to try and help remedy. Building departments, taxes. New York's tough, bro. It's tough.
It is.
And for as much as like you have the fire, like New York beats on you. It does. Like you earn everything in New York.
Yeah. Like they said, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
You scratch for anything in New York.
What made you come up with Captain Permit?
So Captain Permit was a necessity. I own all these ancillary businesses that feed my main business, which is obviously real estate development, which I didn't want to do, but it gets so difficult to find people to do what you need them to do. So that's why I always say, I'm like, listen, there's opportunity. People are like, I don't know what to do, there's an opportunity. Like, bro, there's freaking opportunity in every business, especially right now with the way things are moving in the internet. So I tested out every architect and expediter. Bro, they took over my money, they disappeared. I mean, there are guys that still owe me freaking money from like 3 years ago. Never called me back, years without permits. And this is like pre-COVID. Now with COVID, like
it's even worse.
The building departments are so screwed up that it takes forever. So I'm like, I'm gonna open up a permit operation just to do my own stuff. And then I'm like, well, I know so many realtors, I might as well, resell the service and do that. And that's how Captain Permit was born. But that is a really, really tough business.
With the permit business.
Bro, it's like property management in the sense that it's a thankless business.
Okay.
Because A, if you're doing a good job, people don't really recognize it. But otherwise, everyone's coming to you with a problem and they're pissed in like a high stress, messed up. Like, you call me as an agent. We just got the title report back. We're supposed to close next week. I have 4% commission coming my way. It's 25 grand and there's no permit on this goddamn deck. What are we gonna do? And it's in the town of North Hempstead. And I'm like, it's gonna be 6 to 9 months before we get a permit. People are freaking out. Yeah. My seller has to buy another house. They're in contract. Oh my God, the attorneys don't get it. It's pandemonium.
Yeah.
So so people don't really understand. And then a lot of people like, when I went from expedite, because I'm like, why can't I get this done? Because there's this illusion that we can like snap our fingers, like I know a guy in the building department that's gonna do this. It doesn't work that way anymore. So the process of dealing with the towns is a nightmare.
It is, especially in Long Island. What do you think? I'm not even trying to put anyone on blast, but what do you think is the worst township as far as problems?
Oh, bro, I made a video about this.
Did you?
I made a video 3 weeks ago. I made a video. Top 3 worst and top 3 best building departments on Long Island. Okay. It's out there. I put myself on blast.
All right.
Number 1, without question, worst building department in existence, town of North Hempstead.
Town of North Hempstead.
Awful.
Really?
Westbury, not the village of Westbury, like, what else is over there? Carl Place, New Hyde Park, that whole area. Awful. awful. Second, town of Hempstead. On to Merrick Belmore, not the village of Hempstead. Awful. Third, Brookhaven.
I was going to say Brookhaven.
Awful.
I had a feeling you was going to say Brookhaven. Yeah.
Awful, man. Awful. The 3 best are really the villages. Village of Islandia, amazing place to work. Farmingdale, amazing place to work.
Really?
Village of Babylon, amazing place to work.
Yeah, Babylon is actually really good.
Bro, they gave me a permit a day last week.
Really?
Yeah, day.
Oh, wow.
Day.
Wow, I didn't know they were that good. I knew they were good. I know.
Yeah, put it in, reviewed everything, boom, 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 okay, done.
Wow.
Go.
So why Hempstead? I can never figure out why Hempstead. Like you said, pre-COVID they were fucking horrible.
Dude,
I can just
pre-COVID,
imagine how they are.
It's awful. It is. It couldn't get any worse. Like town of North Hempstead, I'm like buckle up for a minimum 6 to 9 months.
Damn. What do you think is going on with this eviction moratorium?
It's a nightmare, Brad. It is a freaking nightmare. We are. There's good and bad with everything, and the recession cycle is pretty. It's pretty similar. The factors that cause recessions are always changing, but it's a similar kind of time frame, a little bit more, a little bit less. But right now we're just riding the wave. Like the private equity thing that I told you about before, about the 3 to 5 years, fits into what I feel a time frame is, like the one I was talking about before, where I thought things were going to go bad at the end of 19. I'm like, I'm going to ride this, dude. And I'm not an economist, but you feel things when you're in the business world out there. Like, you can't do this to landlords. You can't do this to banks. You cannot continue to print money.
Just print money, just free money.
Forever. You can't reward lazy behavior. It goes against what capitalism is.
Yeah.
At some point in time, there's going to be a reckoning for all that.
How do you think? How long do you think this is gonna?
I think we got another people think I'm nuts. They think it's not going to go as long, but I think we have another 3 or 4 years, and then I think we're going to have a problem. 4 to 5 years from now, I think we're going to have a real problem.
Really?
Yeah, I think we're going to have a problem.
Wow. All
I
right.
do.
I mean,
dude, look at the cost of everything. Now, some of it is, it's so expensive. You go out to eat now, you go anywhere. You go to just a nonsense restaurant, you used to walk out for $15 for whatever. It's freaking $40.
It is, and I've noticed, and I even said this to my wife. I was like, if you go into a supermarket, have you ever noticed that the shelves are never fully stocked? Yeah. There's not a lot. If you go,
I don't really know. Yeah, I really don't think about it.
But if next time you go into a supermarket, just check it out. They're never fully stocked, and it's been like that since everything is kind of opened back up. And
I'm having a hard time getting inventory.
Yeah,
well, bro, you can't, I want to hire 6 people tomorrow. Can't do it.
Can't do it now.
Can't do it.
No.
Nobody can. People, I have a buddy who owns a restaurant in Montauk. He's like, bro, I had to close.
Oh, wow.
I don't do lunch because I don't have enough staff.
Yeah.
I close the season early because I don't have enough staff.
Wow.
But think about it like this. If you're getting $1,100 to sit home, why are you going to work?
Why go to work? Yeah.
Because those positions are the $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year positions. Why are you going to work?
Yeah.
I can't even be mad at you.
I can't be mad
I'm pissed because I can't get my business done, but I can't even be mad at you.
Yeah. I'm not even mad because I was actually getting that $300. So I can't even be mad. But I was, I couldn't work. I was non-essential and I was home with a baby, so I couldn't even do anything.
Yeah, you were literally, but as soon as you go back to work, you went back to work?
I went back to work, of course, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It sucks.
I have a million questions for you, but I'm not gonna keep you here all day. What, because like I said, I was listening to your podcast back then. Whatever happened to Lotus Quotes?
Lotus Quotes is still out there.
It's still out there? Because I don't really hear you say anything about it anymore.
Yeah, Lotus Quotes is out there. We have to, for us it's tough because so the big thing about Lotus Quotes was that we were gonna be able to get people the information on their permits. So if you're a realtor, you call me up, you're like, bro, Lotus Quotes, you put it into Lotus Quotes and say, I'm about to list this house, I need to know if there's any CO violations. Dude, the towns have made it so impossible for us to get this stuff. You want to find out from Babylon what kind of open permits you need. You call it FOIL, it's called, Freedom of Information. 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So bro, how many?
I'm still waiting to get one from a property in Deer Park that I was dealing with.
That's what I'm saying. How am I going to service you through that website the way we wanted to when the municipalities are making it nearly impossible for us to do?
Yeah.
So great concept, great service. It's hard to do now.
The towns, they're just so old school. You can't even really get proper tax information from some of these towns.
It's a mess.
It's the
super
worst.
antiquated. There's some good people that work there, but there's a lot of people that aren't.
Yeah. People are just coasting. I feel like those type of jobs, they're just coasting. They're just waiting to retire. That's it. It's dope, man. You always give a lot of free gems. I guess we'll wrap it up because we've been here for a little minute. And like I said, I can ask you questions for fucking ever. Leave me with a little free game, man. What kind of free game would you give to someone? It could be anything. Social media, fix and flip, just to end it out. What free game would Charles give to the person listening?
I guess we'll touch on both real quick. A, you want to get in the real estate world? It's amazing. I think everybody should invest in real estate. Know yourself, how much time you have, how much money you're looking to invest, how much hunger you have, how much time you have for education, because you can buy rentals, you can do flips, don't get caught up with all the glamour, you can lend money, which is a really big deal, but most importantly, get the education first. On social media, just get started. That's it. Call your man Matt or Visual, he'll work out some kind of dope package for you, get you moving, because it's the drug. I guarantee you take the first hit, right? You take the first hit.
And it's over, it's a wrap.
That's it. But unlike drugs, this is something that's gonna do a lot of positive things for your life.
Yeah. And just, stick with it, man. It takes a little while, too. Some people, if they don't get the reaction that they want, that first post, they'll stop. Yeah. It took me at least 3 months to get traction going. So
just keep going,
Keep going.
Just keep going.
Charles, I appreciate you, bro.
I'm honored to be the first guy in person.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
All right. See you later.